Hey everybody, welcome back. Psychedelic here. It's that time of year again. Top 10 best finds of 2023. Very excited about this list. I don't know if it's the best list in a while, but for the last few years, but it seems like the stakes only keep growing and growing. You know how it goes. But yeah, I just got back home from the holiday, you could say. Looks like we're gonna have quite the windy snowstorm coming through, so just decided to come back a little early, unfortunately, but that's okay. At least I got one extra day off. I can just kind of lounge around. Don't plan on doing anything, so sometimes we all need those days. But before I begin on this list, I also want to mention that, I've been on here almost 10 years now, 2014. I think I started maybe summer of 2014. Feels like a long time ago, though, for me. Feels longer than 10 years. And I noticed also, I keep forgetting to mention this, but I noticed my subscriber rate keeps going up, and I don't know what that's all caused by, except, I try putting a lot of effort into these videos, got better sound equipment this time, at least a little better than what we had, and, just trying to make my videos a little more comfortable and kind of easy to watch instead of just being kind of shoddy or shaky, especially how I started out 10 years ago. Since we're talking about that, but I noticed I'm approaching 3,000 subscribers, which I think I only hit 2,000 back in 2019, I think it was. Not that the numbers matter, but we all kind of notice these things once we're approaching these landmark numbers, and just kind of wanted to say thank you again for continuing this journey with me, whether you get anything out of this or not. It's just simply me sharing my finds, what I'm passionate about, not only with music, but, starting to talk about films a little more. Haven't done any movie reviews in over a year now, but, I got some movie posters up in my little shack here and kind of getting back into films as well. And so whatever hits me, I'm just going to toss it out on this page and hope you guys just enjoy the journey with me. So, but yeah, this year, man, I'm happy to say most of these, I think over half of these I found locally or regionally, so that is quite something considering what I'm passionate about, considering it's more obscure, psychedelic focused records, and some of these I just can't believe I found in the local region. So, and most of them came from one shop, here in town. Buddy's been really good to me, and he knows what I'm looking for. And oftentimes I don't pick up everything he's thrown at me, but there's some heavy pieces I'm just like, I feel obligated to get them. Like, I just feel like I shouldn't leave these behind because this is way up my wheelhouse, So I think last year we did it in order from 1 to 10, I think. I think that's how we did it. So this year I'm going to reverse the order and do it from 10 till 1, which it don't really matter. I mean, they're all fantastic in their own way, of course, but I think honorable mentions, I forgot to bring them out here, but I think I would chose, for some honorable mentions, East of Eden, Mercator Projected, probably would have been in the top 10 almost, and then Plain Jane, self-titled on Hobbit Records. There are at least a couple two that are a little more tougher to get, but not necessarily as rare as these. And once again, I've arranged these sort of in the order that of their rarity, considering what the score was, where I got them, and stuff like that. So we'll dive into them and I'll show you what I got. So at number 10 spot, I thought this was kind of fitting. I feel like I had to put this in there because this was quite a score. And this is the Byrds' Fifth Dimension. It's a promo copy. Pretty much because of the promo, you don't see these very often. Got a little water damage on the bottom. I shared this one not too long ago. But yeah, it's just the water damage on the bottom that's really the only flaw with this. No splitting really, maybe a few bumps there, but looks pretty nice on the front. Got the timestamp. And of course the white label promo on the Columbia label always pops out. And this disc is very close to near mint. This thing plays really well. Featured this in a Trip video. the title track, and that's from this record. So kind of designed the way that the radio stations wanted you to hear it, and I just could not say no to this. I think I got this for like 20 bucks. And this wasn't my go-to shop, but this was a local find here in Lincoln, so I was quite surprised by that price tag. But of course, the Byrds fit the mention, seminal West Coast folk rock, and kind of predating some, or a kind of a precursor to the whole psychedelic scene, for sure. Okay, I haven't actually looked at this list since I've brought these out, but I arranged them about a week ago. What one's next? Number 9 spot. Yeah, this was a pretty good one. I still haven't replaced the sleeve, so I feel bad about that, but it's not the best disc, but it plays pretty strong. The new Colony 6 Breakthrough. It's on the Centaur label. This is definitely their most obscure one, I would say. I don't know what the pressing count on this was, if they only made maybe 1,000 copies. I'm not really sure. You can definitely find these more in the Chicago area, since they were local there. But they definitely hit a little more mainstream, or a little more regional in the Midwest with their follow-up record. But this one has always been kind of tough to find around 100 bucks in clean shape. And I do remember getting a good deal on this as well. I think around 50 bucks or so. So couldn't pass it up. You know, back's also got some issues, but definitely plays strong. This is some pretty good garage pop, I would consider this. I probably do prefer their second one a little more than this one. However, if you guys love that kind of poppy garage rock with some of that hazy organ, that Farfisa organ sound, great harmonies, this one's definitely going to stick out to you. Some great kind of downer garage pop of the highest order. So yeah, can't sleep on this one. And you know, of course, naturally they kind of take on the Paul Revere and the Raiders look. I don't know who started it first. These guys were pretty early. This is from '66, but I think a couple of the singles off here came from the year prior, '65. So not sure who done it first. I'm sure Raiders did, but this next one you may be surprised to see in the list, but considering this pressing, it's kind of makes it a special item. This is Easy Action by Alice Cooper, and I've picked this up for I think about 18 bucks. I almost left it behind, but I was like, I've never seen it on this label before. And this is a Blue Bazaar label copy, kind of in association with Reprise and Warner. The disc, I would say, is about pretty strong VG. I mean, there might be a couple marks, but it plays really nice. Oftentimes you see it on the red straight label, which was originally what it was on. But reportedly, there's only 50 copies of this. I think there might be a little more than that. I think Discog says about 50, but there's a group on Facebook that it's like it's like dedicated to this pressing, and I think maybe 20 people have shared them so far, but I think there might be a little more than 50, but it's a low count, and it's kind of what makes this desirable. And, you know, I've been looking for a real clean copy of this for a long time. You know, this is pre-Spook Factor Alice Cooper. I mean, some of that's in here, for sure. There's still kind of a theatrical act, but at the same time, they're still kind of leaning on that, you know, Zappa psych kind of sound. And I love early Alice Cooper, always have. And just picking this up was a kind of a no-brainer considering the pressing. So really glad to scoop this up. And I found this one in Manhattan, Kansas. I took a trip down there, so glad I came out with something. I was kind of struggling finding something in there, and then that popped out. And I don't know what the price range is on that. I don't know if it's sold on Discogs. I could be wrong, but I know it is pretty desirable. And this was a cool find. So this is an upgrade, actually. I used to have a 72 electric press for a long time. So I finally upgraded to a red Electra label of the Stooges. And it's not the misprint with missing the Stooges on the label, but it's a early pressing nonetheless. The Stooges changed my life, man. I could talk about them all the time. I even run the Stoogeland page on Instagram, in case you guys didn't know that. And that page has kind of gone viral. It's got like 30,000 followers on there. It's got the original inner. And yeah, I've just been a long-time Stooges fan ever since, you know, probably my sophomore year in high school, talking over 10 years now. They really changed my life as far as like what rock and roll could be. You know, they just really took it in a raw, kind of strange direction from, you know, having that Detroit sound and just sublime stuff. I don't listen to them nearly as much as I do, or much as I did, you know, back then, but they still changed my life in many ways, even if they only had like 3 albums. I recently read the life and story of the Stooges with the interview with Mr. Iggy Pop. A lot of stuff I learned and a lot of great obscure photographs. Just what I love, man. You don't see this one floating around too much. And show the label here. Very clean copy. Doesn't look like it's been played very much at all. Side with We Will Fall. What do you guys think of that track, We Will Fall? Kind of an underrated track, right? I think it is. It's not your punky Stooges, but it's kind of more that influence of John Cale and maybe a little Doors in there. This next one, this is one that I picked up overseas for a pretty comfortable price. This is one that I've been trying to seek out this year, and this was one that you can consider the foreign release pickup this year, and this is It's Smoke Time by The Smoke. Really great band from the UK, but it was released in Germany. I don't think it ever got a release in the UK, but track after track, you know, it's kind of got the same. A lot of people complain about, you know, the songs do sound a lot like each other, like The Open Mind and The Status Quo, you know, those 2 records. But I don't care. This is great, catchy, sort of semi-garage, but yet kind of freak beat, mod-oriented pop rock sounds, you know. It's phenomenal stuff. You Can't Catch Me, High in a Room, We Can Take It. Damn. Some smokers on this one. Very much influenced, you know, of course, by The Who and that whole plethora of bands. This is on the Bellaphon or Metronome label. Let's see, let's show this side here. Pretty nice copy. It's got a few marks, but really strong player. And I definitely got this under the going average price. And it's just like, just looking at the sleeve, it's like we'll never get this, you know, kind of clean cut style back. But they really shine for sure. What spot are we at here on the list? I think we're at, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At the number 5 spot, and again, this is another local pickup at my go-to shop. This is one I was kind of hinting towards before I took my little departure this year. And what a copy. This is a great clean copy of Dragonfly. Came out in, I think, 68. I think the date's a little fuzzy on this, but I'm pretty sure it's 68. Got a nice gatefold here. I didn't keep my reissue, but this was a nice upgrade. I was like, I'm fine with just having the original. And this disc could not be more cleaner. I don't think this has been played at all, really. I've definitely played it a handful of times, but this is one hell of a pressing, too. I mean, the fidelity on this is, like, pretty loud. Really sticks out, too. I mean, the mix and the whole, just all the sound effects thrown in. This is basically the band The Legend from Colorado, but if you're looking for some smoking hard rock, you know, kind of the psychedelic era, with some really flashy sound effects and production mixing noises, this is definitely one that will intrigue a listener. And it's got some kind of pre-Kurt Cobain's Nirvana type of sounds in here, especially in the vocals. pretty cool. And then I guess I forgot to mention, you know, I did sneak in a couple singles into this one, so I knew, you know, typically in the past I would go the LP route because I am an LP kind of guy, but I just could not leave these off the list. Damon, Song of a Gypsy, or Song of the Gypsy, yeah. And then, Oh What a Good Boy Am I. Talked about this in my last video, and if you guys don't know the backstory, check her out. Won't go too much into the whole lore about it, but the fact there were 2 copies of this and Poor Genie, unplayed condition in Nebraska, that shit is just unheard of. So do check her out. This is a non-LP, well, it's an alternate take, I should say, and then a non-LP B-side on the back. So got a good price on that. Didn't pay too much out of pocket. This is one that I've always considered #1 on my want list. Just been trying to seek a copy out forever and finally did. Could be a better copy, but I'm just happy to have this. Easter Everywhere, 13th Floor Elevators. Plays pretty well. I mean, I just wish the front was a little cleaner, but you know how it is with the whole design here with the sun and the gold print there. But this is my first OG, you know, 13th Floor Elevators, and this is the one I wanted for the longest time. This is peak Elevators for me. Doesn't get any better than this as far as Texas Psych with that kind of unhinged, fringy, sort of Texas sunbaked sound leaking through the mix. You just feel how hot the studio is making this, you know? So yeah, the disc is pretty decent. I mean, and you know, they're kind of notoriously famous for not having the best pressings, but the 2 I have, this one and I think Bubble Puppy, you know, have a few issues, but nothing of too concern. So yeah, once again, just pretty mesmerized to even own this or even just holding this piece. But this is a early second pressing. It's not the Posteros copy, and it's also Dan Fogelberg's copy. And I actually got this one online from a gentleman who I think I was hinting towards. Well, I think I showed Bowl of the Woods in a recent video, and then he told me he had a copy of Easter Everywhere for me if I was interested, and we had good relationship back and forth and settled a deal. And you know who you are out there if you're watching me still. Thank you so much for putting this in good hands. This is going to be a lifelong keeper till I upgrade, maybe. But most likely won't. And then this one. I don't even know how rare this is. But it's got to be uber rare considering I found this in South Dakota. And I was kind of on the fence about picking this up at first. You know, I wasn't sure. I didn't really need it. But considering what this was, its rarity, you know, one of my favorite bands that also influenced me as big as the Stooges, I was like, you're coming home with me, boy. And this is a Pink Floyd demonstration copy of It Would Be So Nice with just a single-sided record. I think the flip side's like almost like a Morse code or something on the back. It's not a Morse code, but it's like broadcast gobbledygook. This is probably one of those cases where I won't be playing this one too much. This is one of those special items that is going to be kind of sitting on the shelf for a while and get played on special occasions. But this is one of like maybe 100 copies ever pressed from the UK in its original sleeve. And the fact that this came with a special note as well for the radio broadcast. What does this say on here? Please note that this DJ is a specially edited and shortened version for broadcasting purposes. So, yeah, I found this at an antique mall in Sioux Falls, and I was like, what? And, you know, it's kind of known that the Floyd members aren't very particularly happy about this song because they were at that point when, you know, Syd Barrett had left and They're trying to write some pop tunes, maybe in his style, but they were kind of trying to find their sound yet, I think. And this is, I think it's a Rick Wright tune. Yeah. So I happen to love the track. I don't really have any tracks by Floyd that I'm not too bummed out about, especially during this era, but even their experimental stuff I can just always listen to, you know. They just always have that sound in there. So, but going back to this last one, so at number 1 spot, I don't know if this is number 1. I guess it is. I put it there. These are all number 1 in my book. But, of course, this is one that I found local as well. And I think I showed this a few months back, back when my car got stolen. Very memorable time in my life. And this is the radio station copy of July, self-titled. This came out in '68. And, you know, like any US copy, it's got kind of that fake stereo. I don't care. The fact that this is the copy that a local station here in Nebraska played, here in Lincoln, this is the copy, and it's just sat in this house for probably 50 plus years, is kind of amazing. Just the story that goes with this alone, you know. So it's not a white label promo, it's definitely a stereo stock copy. And pretty clean as well. I think Dandelion Seeds has like a moment of surface noise, but it's all good. You know, definitely lucked out on this one, and it's also got the radio station credits there and the date. October of '68. And what could you say about July, man? It's just one of those records that inspired everybody else to become a neo-psych band these days. Definitely got a very stylistic sound for its time period. You know, coming out of the freak beat scene. Still kind of very much a pop band, but the way they take these tracks, you know, very Syd Barrett influenced. It's got a lot of delay, echo effects, and, you know, considering, you know, there's no real stereo mix of this, the fact it's probably best in mono, there's definitely some sounds here that still trickle all over the place, and you still get lost in the whole magical scene of, you know, being in the Piccadilly Circus and taking life in stride during this time period. It's just really what makes these records timeless and special, and nothing else like it. I mean, there probably won't ever be another time anything like this will ever happen. So that is why I am so passionate about these sounds. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I know I kind of flew through these fairly quickly, but that's how it goes when you show 10 records and I babble along. So tell me what you guys think of these findings. Pretty, you know, I still can't come to grasp I even own some of these. You know, I never imagined picking up July, but it's right there in the shop. It's like, I gotta get it. And like I said, you know, I never pay too much out of pocket, and I try to make some sales, try to get some trade. That's why a lot of things I pick up oftentimes leave, because there's always something else to get. So it's just kind of a rotating cycle I go through. But we collect as we want to, and that's the way I'm kind of going about it. So I hope you guys have a good holiday. I don't know when I'm going to push this video out. I'm recording this Christmas Eve, actually. But I may upload it tonight or tomorrow. We'll see. Like I said, I'm probably going to get snowed in, so it's kind of sprinkling right now. But yeah, it's just kind of end of the year trip. And like I mentioned, I'm going to probably record or take you know, shots of like every record I've owned in the past 2 years and do another My Psychedelic Record Collection video. And should be fun. Not really, because it's not fun to shoot, but the end result will look awesome once I publish the video. So anyways, guys, take care, stay safe out there, and we shall see you soon.